So we all know that this particular code wallet called Coldcard, a certain version was compromised a few weeks ago, and then about $140 million has been lost from users who actually held their crypto Bitcoin in that particular code wallet. Now, a developer decided to do some tests into the version of the wallet that was compromised, and let's just watch it and see how fast the Bitcoin disappears. No, let me know you're wondering where you can store your crypto safely, the best code wallet, I still recommend One Key. One Key has multi-signature. It's one of the best code wallet that I have used, and I recommend it. So use One Key.
This is a Coldcard Mark III, one of the devices most impacted by the recent Coldcard vulnerability. The vulnerability caused your Coldcard to create a seed phrase that wasn't sufficiently random. A Bitcoin seed phrase must be random. If it isn't, an attacker may be able to guess that seed phrase and steal your Bitcoin. Think of the password 1234. It isn't very secure because it's easy to guess. So because of this flaw, seed phrases that were created by Coldcard devices should be considered compromised, especially the Coldcard Mark III. This applies to all devices, of course. Mark IV, Mark V, and Q are impacted as well, but this device was worse off. If you're using any Coldcard and you only have a seed phrase that's created by the Coldcard, you must move the funds immediately. So in this video, what I'm going to do is I'm going to let my Coldcard Mark III create a seed phrase, and we're going to put some funds into that wallet, and we're going to monitor that wallet to see how quickly they get wiped. Then I'm going to apply different passphrases to that wallet of different strength and length and so on. And I'm going to fund each of those wallets too to see exactly how much time the passphrase saves us in this scenario. The purpose of this video is to make this completely public. I want everyone to see the exact process I'm about to do, and I'll show you the Bitcoin addresses that have the funds so you can see exactly what happens. I want this to be auditable by anyone. I'm going to create a seed phrase now, but I'm not going to show you the seed because then anyone watching this video can obviously steal the coins. So here on this Coldcard, by the way, let's quickly check the version. I'm going to go to advanced. Where is version number? Upgrade. And then I'm going to show version. And here we can see we're running 4.1.8. which is one of the impacted versions. So let's go to the home screen. I'm going to go new wallet, and there we go, it's generating. Now I'm going to take this off screen, and I'm going to write down my seed phrase off camera. All right, I have now written down all 24 words, and I did the test to prove I've written them down correctly, and that seed phrase is applying. So what I'm going to do now is export this wallet to Sparrow. Okay, well now I get this error message, and my Coldcard is just unresponsive. That's interesting. So I'll cut the power. We're going to redo the power, and I'll fill in my PIN, and let's see what goes on with that. Okay, so just a little update. For some reason, I cannot export the public keys on this device. I don't know what the reason is, but what I did was instead I exported the addresses. So here we can see address summary file written, addresses.csv. So on my SD card, I have a file right now that contains the Bitcoin addresses. And if I scroll down, this is the first one in that list. So I'm going to put that on the computer now. I'm not going to use Sparrow anymore because it's just an addresses CSV file. And that's where we'll move the initial funds to. What I'm going to do as well is quickly export, we'll apply a passphrase first, and then apply a few different passphrases of different strength, and then we'll do the same thing. We're going to export the addresses CSV file for each, and we'll send some Bitcoin to each address to see how quickly the funds are swept. So let me go ahead and go back to the home screen over here. By the way, let's just quickly go to advanced. Let's go view identity, and here's the fingerprint for the current wallet. This is the seed phrase alone, and you saw the addresses a second ago. So what I'll do now is let's go over to passphrase, and what I'm going to do is just add a word, a single BIP39 word. And of course, this is a very insecure passphrase. You shouldn't have a passphrase that's this insecure. This is just for this video. So I'll click on add word, and then just to the side over here, I'm going to quickly roll some dice to randomly generate a single word. Give me a second. So I've generated the first passphrase, but of course I've just realized that I can't show you that passphrase because the attacker who cracks this seed phrase, I'm basically giving them the passphrase now so they know exactly what to do. So again, what I've done is I've generated 4 passphrases. The first one is one single BIP39 word. The second one is 2 BIP39 words. Then we have 3 BIP39 words and 4 BIP39 words. So we'll first be testing those 4. I think that's a good start. So I'm going to apply each now as a passphrase, and I'll show you the fingerprint and the addresses CSV file for each. So let me go ahead now and apply the first passphrase. The first passphrase is applied. Again, this is just one single word, and there's my new fingerprint. So let's just take a note of that. And then what I'm going to do again is go to my address explorer, and then I'll just go to the next screen here. And by the way, for every single address, every export, we're going to be using the BC1Q address format. So we'll be using the same derivation path each time. So I'll click on that, and then it's going to write my addresses file. Oh wait, no, sorry. First it's going to show me the addresses. So there's the first address in the derivation path. I'll click on 1, I believe it's 1. Yeah, I'm going to press 1 to save that to my SD, and it's going to save those now. And of course, we'll bring them onto the computer shortly. All right, so addresses2.csv is written to my SD card. Again, this is the passphrase with one single word. So what I'll do is I'm just going to cut the power on the Coldcard now, and then we're going to load up the second passphrase, which is 2 words. So let me go ahead and do that off camera. You don't need to see that again. Okay, so here is a freshly booted Coldcard. Just to show you, we're going to go to Advanced. We're going to go View Identity, and there we've got the main seed phrase fingerprint again. So I'm going to go to the home screen. We'll go passphrase, and then I'm going to go ahead now and apply the second passphrase, which is 2 words. 2 BIP39 words. So let me do that off camera. All right, I applied the second passphrase of 2 words. It's working, and now that is the fingerprint. So keep that in mind. This is the fingerprint for the second wallet. I'm going to, again, we'll go Address Explorer. I'm going to select the BC1Q address type, and then we're going to export the addresses file to the SD. So we'll click on BC1Q. All right. And then we will click on, well, firstly, let me show you the address. So there's the derivation path, and that's the address, the first address. I'll click on 1 now to save this to my SD, and we'll give that a second to do its thing. So here we now have addresses3.csv, and that was for the what passphrase? That's for the 2-word passphrase. So I'll click on checkmark. That's written to the SD card now. So again, we're going to cut the power completely. We'll put the power back on, and then we're going to apply the third passphrase now, which would be 3 words. So let me insert my pin. We are back in the Coldcard, and just to be thorough, I'm going to go to Advanced. We'll go View Identity, and there's the master fingerprint again. Okay, so let's go back to the home screen. We'll go passphrase, and then we will apply the latest passphrase. I will go on add word, and I'm going to type out each of the 3 BIP39 words in this for this passphrase. All right, the third passphrase has been applied, and that is the fingerprint. So let's note this fingerprint, and then we will check mark. We're going to go to Address Explorer. Okay, let's wait for that to load. Okay, I'm going to go to the BC1Q address format, and now I'll show you again, the derivation path is right there. And there's the first address you can see on the Coldcard. So let me press 1 to save that to the SD card, and I will give it a moment to save that file. All right, there's addresses for CSV. That file's written, and that is, of course, the third passphrase with 3 BIP39 words. So I'll check mark and get back to the home screen. Now, one thing I've decided is that I'm not actually going to do the fourth passphrase. Instead, I'm going to do the seed phrase alone. But what I'll do is I'm going to export a non-zero account number. So basically, I'm going to randomly select an account number, and export the main seed. And that way we can tell if the attackers are testing different account numbers at this point. And we'll see how long that lasts. So what I'll do right now, I'll fill in my PIN, and then I'll show you what I'm going to do in the next steps once I've filled in my PIN. So what I've done now is I randomly created an account number, and what I've discovered is that Coldcard only takes an account number between 1 and 9,999. So I've had to select a number between 1 and 9,999. I'm going to go to advanced first, just to view identity, and I'll show you the fingerprint. Okay, and then we're going to go to Address Explorer, and then I'll click on 4 to proceed. Now, on the next screen, we should have the option to select an account number. So I'll do that. I'll go down to account number, and now I'll insert my 4-digit account number off camera. Of course, I don't want to give it to you because the attacker could use that and just steal the funds. So give me a second to do this off camera. Okay, I applied the 4-digit account number, and now I requested the addresses, but it's going to show me the derivation path right now. So I'm going to scroll down a bit. I don't want to reveal the derivation path right now because we are testing the account number. So off screen, let me just scroll down. I'll do that very quickly off screen, and I need to block the derivation path. But there you can see the first address. How can I block this better? So there you can see the address in the first account number, sorry, the new account number's wallet. This is the first address. So again, I'll export this to the CSV, and there we go. We have address summary file written, addresses 5 CSV, and this would be for the unique account number. Now it's time to bring all these files onto the computer, and let's take a look at what we have. Let's format everything nicely, and then I'll send some funds over and we can start the countdown. Okay, so here's the final list of each wallet address. These are the first wallet addresses for each of the different wallets. So firstly, we have the insecure seed with no passphrase. This should be address 1. And then we have the insecure seed with 1 passphrase. Here's the first address, 3-word passphrase, 4-word passphrase, and then here we have the random account number. So it's time for me to send funds to each of these wallets. Now, I'm only going to send a smaller value because it does appear that any funds are wiped at this point. So initially, I thought that maybe I might have to do a larger sum of money in case the attackers are ignoring small values, but I'll just send a small value here because it appears they are wiping small values too. So let's go ahead now. I'm going to send some funds to these wallets, and from that point forward, we can track everything. I'm going to send this all in one single Bitcoin transaction so that all wallets receive funds at the exact same time. And then, it's good to know the timing between the different compromises. So let me go ahead and do that off camera. All right, so I've gone ahead and built this transaction in Sparrow, and here we can see I'm paying 5 different addresses. The first one is the no passphrase wallet, and then we have the 1-word, 2-word, and 3-word passphrased wallets. And here's the random account number. So each of them will receive 10,800 sats. So what I'll do is I'll broadcast this transaction, and now I'll go ahead and open each of these in mempool.space so we can monitor them. So here we are in mempool, and this is the transaction I just created. And look at that. One of the outputs is already spent. So the first one, which is the compromised Coldcard, was already wiped. Look at that. Okay, interesting. Now, let's go. That is so crazy. It's already been wiped. And this is the address the funds are sent to. So let's take a look here. This is the wallet that stole the funds. Now, this is a fresh Bitcoin address. So obviously someone had the seed loaded already. They already cracked the seed, and as soon as I deposited funds, they instantly wiped them. That happened instantly. So right now I am very tempted to actually load up Sparrow Wallet and load up the Mark III seed phrase and try RBF this transaction, but I'm not going to do that because I want to keep the experiment as fair as possible. Obviously the seed phrase is compromised, so and I don't want to make the seed phrase a hot wallet. I'm going to keep it offline. So I'll just leave this for now, and I'll refresh, and let's see how long it takes before the second address is wiped. So this one over here should be the 1-word passphrase. Let's see how long this stays safe for, or, well, it's obviously not safe, but let's see how long the funds remain here. But let me refresh this one last time and just double check. Okay, only one of the UTXOs have been stolen so far. Now, of course, this is the seed with no passphrase. Let's see what happens with the rest. Interestingly, the one with the account number, even though it's the same seed phrase, hasn't been wiped. So it seems that the account number adds a bit of protection, but obviously that seed phrase is completely compromised at this point. So that's a very interesting finding, in my opinion. Let me end this video here. And I want to get this live out to my audience as soon as possible. And I'm going to give you all this transaction ID so you can all track this live.